Welcome to the Jesus Show. Not that one.
Can we shut the fuck up over here on the side? Because I'm trying to start. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. This week is going to be a Jesusito episode, and I'm going to talk about I finally went back to work and my experience. But before we do that, remember to rate, subscribe, and like, right? Like, rate, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, TheJesusShowNTO. So dumb. Follow me on Instagram, TheJesusShowNTO. Facebook, The Jesus Show, not that one. TikTok, The Jesus Show, not that one. Twitter, Jesus Show NTO. And just type in on YouTube, The Jesus Show, not that one, or The Jesus Show NTO, and it'll come up. And then you can watch me, and you can see the stupid faces I make all the time. Because if you're listening to me, you can't see it. But if you're watching me, you can go, oh, Jesse's being stupid. Yeah, tell everybody. Tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your everybody you know to subscribe to The Jesus Show, not that one. Now that we have that out of the way. Also, it's a new thing. I think I've told them before. I have Allie in the room. So she's over here. Say hi.
Hi.
She's over there. Just in case I need her to look something up, I figured instead of me trying to do it, she can help me do it. So if I'm talking to her, or if I look over and I'm like this, it's because she's in the room. I'm trying not to do it as much, so I'm focusing on you guys more than her. But, you know, we're still trying to figure it out. So aside from the butthole licking, 69, do you think people are 69ing?
Yeah.
You think 69ing is like a big thing?
I think it's always a thing.
You think it's... Do you think you can meet somebody and go, you're a 69er? No. You don't think there's people out there that are 69ers? I think maybe I should start doing that. When I meet some people, I'll be like, do you 69? You look like somebody 69s. But then I don't know if they're going to get offended or not. You think they would?
I think they're going to be kind of weirded out.
Because I asked if they 69? How's that weird?
Just a random person on the street.
I mean, I'm not going to ask complete strangers. Hey, how many of you guys out there 69? Do you guys do, is that still a thing? 69? I always thought as a kid, as a young moldable man, I was like, oh man, 69 is the best. Yeah, make all the noise. Cool.
Sorry. As a kid, do you mean high school?
Yeah, like high school, like when I first started.
Like when you interviewed Kai Kamara and you kept saying, when I was a kid, it's like,
Yeah.
older than him.
Yeah, but when I was first started watching Prawn, or as me, Greg, and Robert call it, Disney movies. We go, oh, Disney movies? I thought, oh man, 69 is where it's at. And then I did it a couple times. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it's all right. It's not that, it's not the end all be all. So yeah, do you guys 69? Think about that. Let's jump into why I have you guys here this week. And that is I finally went back to work after not working for a year and 2 months, I think. A year and 2 months.
May, June.
My last trip was to Narita, Japan from LA. No. San Fran. Really? I did it at San Fran?
Yes.
Oh shit, I did it. Yeah, you're right. San Francisco to Narita, Japan. And it was, I believe, April 27th.
Yeah,
I think it was. 2020. That was my last trip. And then on the 4th of July was my first trip back. I got a little emotional because I haven't been working in a while. So that was really cool. And I had a really cool crew. So I'm going to tell you about where I went and what I did. The morning of the 4th of July, I left here. I left Vegas. Did I say Vegas or Vegas? Sound like Vegas, right? Vegas. Las Vegas. I left Las Vegas to go to San Francisco at like 6 in the morning. I left fucking early. And the shitty part is my check-in wasn't until, I believe, 6:30 at night. So I was there at the airport for a long fucking while. But the flights weren't looking good from here to there. If I would have gotten there later, I would have really been pushing it. Like, maybe give myself 30 minutes, which is not smart. Because then if there's a delay, whatever the fuck. I just got there early and I was like, fuck it. I can hang around, which I did. And my first day was just deadhead. So if you don't know what a deadhead is, we take a regular seat like a passenger, and we're getting paid for as if we're working the flight, but we're not. So yeah, that's what a deadhead is. So all we did was San Francisco to Sacramento. We got Fast and the Furious going on out there. So that was really easy. When I got to the airport, I watched the new episode of Loki, and then I watched something else. I don't remember what I watched. And then I had my salmon bowl. It's just salmon with some rice that I always get, and then I got a spicy tuna roll. That's my favorite thing to eat when I'm in San Francisco because it's just really good. I had that. I had some lunch, hung out. Then finally I got on the deadhead. And my crew was really nice. 3 of us stayed together the whole time. And then we got a new person, which we call the load. We had a new person every flight. So what happened was we get to Sacramento. We stay the night. Like I said, easy day, deadhead. The next morning, we go to Sacramento. I worked Sacramento to Dulles, and from Dulles to New Orleans. I was aware that there was a storm brewing around the southern eastern part of the United States, but I didn't think it was going to affect us. And then, we had a medical. Wait, can I talk about that? I won't be specific. We had a minor medical emergency from Sacramento to Dulles. This passenger was having a little bit of an issue, but the person's fine. Everything was good. We had a paramedic on board help us out to check on the person. So that was kind of like, oh, cool. First flight back and medical emergency. What does my training tell me to do? So we stay in New Orleans. And the next day, because on our, when we look at our trips, we have something called a pairing. So we see where we're going, what flight we're working with, who, all that stuff. So I look, and the next day we were supposed to go New Orleans to Houston, Houston to Santa Ana, Santa Ana to Newark. So it was a long day. And then I think we had like a 10-hour layover in Newark, which is short. And then we were flying one leg back the next day, which was the end of the trip. We get on the way to because I was purser, right? I always want to call it lead or say lead. Yeah, but we call it purser and then international purser now. Anyways, I was the purser. So I like to make sure that I know what gate me and my crew are going so I can let them know, hey, this is where we're going. So as they're getting food in the morning, I check and I went, oh, our plane is delayed coming to Houston, which originally our plane was already supposed to be there. And we were supposed to stay on the same plane all day, and then they changed it. So that was kind of odd. So we see that it's 30, or I think it was 20 minutes delayed. So then, I tell my crew, I'm like, hey, you guys have some time, no rush. And then it turned into 30 minutes. And then we're sitting a couple gates away because we don't like to sit at the gate that we're gonna work, just because. I mean, I don't like to. And usually, like that gate is populated with a bunch of people, and we like to sit just on our own, just so we can talk and do whatever we want. So we're sitting like 2-3 gates away, and we sit down. My crew members start eating their breakfast, and then I go, "Oh, we're an hour delayed now," and we had 48 minutes between landing and then getting to another plane, and then getting on that plane, boarding, and then taking off. So I was like, "Oh man, we're really pushing it." And then the hour turned into an hour 15, and then our sit time turned into 3 minutes, and we're like, "Are we even gonna make that?" As it started getting closer to pushback departure, then we noticed that now we're an hour 20 minutes delayed, and now we've been taken off the trip, the Houston to Santa Ana. So we're like, well, what's going to happen now? So we're refreshing our schedule, and then it says, boom, you're deadheading from Houston to Newark now. And now instead of having a 10-hour layover in Newark, we have, I think it was a 17-hour layover. So it was longer. So we're like, okay, cool. So we were excited about that. Finally, the plane gets to New Orleans. We board the plane, and it's a quick flight. It was 50 minutes. And it was 50 minutes because they had us, instead of going from New Orleans to Houston like this, they had us go around some weather. So that's what made it a little longer. Because it should have been like 30 minutes. Right? That's usually, right? Maybe 40 minutes? Yeah. So, we take off, and it was quick, and then we're in the air, and the captain calls us and says, hey, I feel like I'm not getting the words out.
Yeah.
It's weird.
You want to take it?
That's odd. Anyway, sorry guys, that was fucking annoying. I apologize. So the captain calls us and says, hey, why don't you guys stay seated a little longer than normal? So we said, okay. So he makes the announcement, lets, the passengers know. And then finally we get up, and then I asked 2 rows what they wanted to drink, and I come back to tell my galley person to make them so I can run them out. And then he calls and goes, hey, sit down now. Because then we started rocking and rolling. Like, oh shit. And then we never got up because it wasn't safe. So we sat down the whole time. We land, everybody gets off, and then we're already checked in for our next flight, just a deadhead. Again, now we're going from Houston to Newark in a passenger seat, and we're just relaxing. So we get on the flight, we meet the crew, and the crew working it, very nice. They were, they were like, hey, if you guys need some water, if you guys need anything, please let us know. And we're like, no. I normally like to take like snacks and my water already on the plane, just so I don't have to bug the crew. I know they don't mind because I don't mind when people ask me. But just my personal preference, I like to just take that stuff on. We're on, everybody's boarded, and we push back, and everything was fine. Everything was fine. We take off, and I think our flight time was, I think 3 something? Or is it usually 4?
Houston and Newark.
Yeah.
2.5, 3 maybe.
Maybe it was just over 3. So we take off at 2:20 p.m. Houston time. We're in the air, and all of a sudden, the crew comes back. Like, I was taking a nap, which I rarely sleep on the plane. Taking a nap. I wake up, and one of the guys, he says, hey, he leans in and tells me, we're diverting to Dulles because of weather. And I went, what the fuck? I went, okay. So then he tells my other crew member, which is sitting right across the aisle from me. So we look at each other and we're like, okay, well, fuck it, whatever. Captain comes on, says, hey, we're being rerouted to Dulles. Mind you, this is day 3 of my trip. So far, I've worked 3 flights so far. Like, actually working. And then, Captain says, we're going to go, we're going to refuel, wait, and then we're going to take off back to Newark. So we end up, I think we were sitting on the tarmac for 2.5 hours. It was a while. First, it was going to be 30 minutes, and then it turned into an hour, and then, Newark was on a ground stop. And then finally we get, because then on our app, it says, oh, you're going to leave in 30 minutes, and then it gets pushed back, and then pushed back, and pushed back, pushed back. Finally, the captain says, hey, we're refueled. We have plenty of gas. We're going to take off. So now we take off. We're going. I start watching a movie, and we're in the Newark area. Captain comes on and says, hey, they gave us a holding pattern. Newark is still closed. They're still on a ground stop, but we have enough fuel to hold for an hour and a half. Okay. So we're going, and then one of the crew members comes back and leans into our ears again and goes, hey, we're going back to Dulles. And I went, whoa, shit. So sure enough, 5 minutes later, the captain, hey, want to let everybody know we're going back to Dulles. Newark isn't open right now. The weather's too bad. So now we go back to Dulles, and then we're thinking, me and my crew member, like, well, I mean, now we're probably gonna deadhead from Dulles to San Francisco tomorrow, the last day, because, I mean, I guess we could have gotten deadheaded to Newark and then worked it back, but there was no way we were gonna work our original flight because we were gonna miss that. Because by now, when we land in Dulles, it was 11:30 at night. So we land, and then now people are like kind of freaking out around us because they're like, hey, I'm getting picked up in Newark. Like, I live in Newark, and it sucks for them because, I mean, I don't have to worry about it because I'm working. So all my shit's taken care of. But I was like, fuck, man, that sucks for them. We ended up getting a pairing modification, like an update, and it just said, now tomorrow you're going from Dulles to San Francisco. You're deadheading. Okay, so we get off the plane, and it's almost midnight now. We're waiting for the van to get taken to the hotel, and then I call, and I was going to call in the morning, but I heard Allie's voice right here. And she said, baby, why don't you call now just to get out of the way? So you don't. And I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Because right before I called you, I did that.
Oh, really?
So I called, and it's like 12:05 in the morning, right? So I call, and the scheduler says, sure, you're released. Oh, and the scheduler, no, you're not in the frame. The scheduler says, do you need help getting home? And I went, wait, to the dog park? The scheduler says, do you need help getting home? Which they'll help you get to base. They won't fly you positive space. Like, you won't get a guaranteed seat to your home, which I thought was odd. So I went, wait, you can fly me to Vegas? And the way she said it, then she was like, no, I can get you to base. And I go, well, you said, do I need help getting home? San Francisco is not my home. She goes, oh, well, what I meant was, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, I understand what you mean. So she says, you're released. So I'm released. I booked my flight from Dulles to Vegas because instead of having to go to San Francisco now, I don't have to because I'm released. So we stay in Dulles. The next morning, I don't leave with my crew because both of them are deadheading back. They're deadheading back to San Francisco, which one of the crew members, she lives there. The other guy lives in Austin, which I thought maybe he should have called to get released and just go from there, fake his own deadhead. Yeah. He didn't. Then come to find out in the morning, they converted both of them to work the flight. Yeah. I got a text from one of my crew members, and she goes, hey, we just got converted. They were on the plane sitting down out of uniform, And then they said, ring, ring, ring. Hey, you need to get in your uniform and work. I went, whoa. So I was very fortunate that I got released and I didn't have to do that bullshit. And then I got on my flight. I got home and I did my first 4-day trip and it felt really good. I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if I've shared with you guys. For a long time now, maybe about 2 years now, I've been having this thing where I get these waves of nauseousness, especially on the plane. And I don't know if I'm assuming it's anxiety, right? I mean, I'm asking Allie, like she knows my fucking body.
Remember what the therapist said? You get anxious about being anxious.
Oh, yeah. When I was seeing a therapist, she did say, it sounds like I'm getting anxious about being anxious. And before, like, I wanted to take another month off because I was very nervous to get back to work. And I mean, even now, I'm a little nervous to go on my next trip, but I'm more excited than nervous. And now that I just did the trip and everything was fine, I only felt like from a scale of 1 to 10, my nauseousness was maybe like at a 2 once. So it was a great trip for me. But every time I'm going to go to work, before and then now, especially now because I haven't been to work in a long time, like I get this just nervousness. It's really, it's fucking weird. Like I went to the doctor. I don't know if I told you guys already, but I went to the doctor and they did all kinds of tests, blood work. They did MRIs, X-rays, blood work. I went to a gastroenterologist. They did shit. I mean, I pooped and I gave them a sample of my shit. They're like, I don't know what's going on. Everybody kept telling me, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. They even did a stress test and they go, oh, you're fine, you're perfect. It's like, okay, well then why the fuck do I feel this way? So if anybody out there, if you guys are listening and you guys have a little tips and tricks, they're appreciated. I know I was talking to Megan and she gave me some tips which I used and it definitely helped me, and then I used this time around and it helped me also. But yeah, like I was telling Allie the other day, I was like, I'm nervous to go, like, to get on the plane. Yes.
Share with them what the tips and tricks were and normalize mental health awareness.
So Megan was telling me, I said, my doctor gave me these anti-nausea pills. I just pop them under my tongue and they dissolve. And I told Megan at one point, I don't feel like I need them, but when I have them on me, it feels good. And she said, do that. Take those pills with you and have them accessible. Even if you're not going to use them, that puts your mind at ease. And I went, yeah, I guess you're right. So I used to carry them in my pocket. And Megan said, why don't you carry them in your shirt pocket? That way, if I need them, they're right there instead of, like, you know, if I'm sitting down, I'm going to have to go into my pocket or whatever. Like, I just wanted, Megan suggested, put them somewhere where they're super accessible. And right there is super accessible. So I have those. She also gave me a paper, and it's just a list of questions. And I have the paper. I took a photo of it, so I look at it sometimes, and it's just certain questions, and I answer the questions, and I kind of talk about it in my head to myself. And then another thing that I came up with is, because sometimes when I would start going down the runway when we would take off, that's when I'd feel this nauseous feeling, like I was gonna throw up everywhere. And I thought to myself, is it because I'm worried that something's gonna happen on takeoff? So now I think about what I need to think about because of our training. And then I also think about, hey, man, everything's fine. You're good. And definitely leaving, when me and Allie leave, we give each other a hug and we tell each other we love each other. That also helps.
Even when you hate me.
Yeah, even when I'm upset at her for whatever stupid shit I'm upset about her with. But it makes me feel good to know that, hey, at least she knows I love her and I know she loves me. So it's just a little thing that helps me. But yeah, I felt good this trip. And then I got a little nervous because I felt I was a little cocky because I was like, fuck yeah, I'm back. Hell yeah, this is dope. And I had to check myself and I went, hey man, relax. Just because you had one good trip doesn't mean they're all going to be good. But then I think I shared that with you. Mm-hmm. And Ali was like, but don't think that your other ones aren't going to be successful. And I go, yeah, you're right. Because I don't want to set myself up for failure. I want to set myself up for success. And I'm really trying to have my mental state as the next trip's going to be great. And I know it's going to be good because I just got done with this first trip and I was fine. I felt great. Getting back in the air, it felt good. And then, it also felt good knowing that, oh, I have my schedule set and I'm going to start making money again. Because that's nice. Like, that's why I go to work. I want to go make money so I can pay my bills and do whatever the fuck it is I want with it. And my crew members were very nice. And the loads that we had, though they were different people, they were also very nice. Our pilots were, I think I told you, our pilots were our pilots are always nice. I mean, I've had, a dick pilot here and there. But I felt like the pilots were extra nice. They wanted to reinforce that we knew that, hey, if you need anything, we're here for you. If you have a problem, we're here. If you want something, we're here. Like, don't hesitate to ask us, to tell us. We're here for you. And that felt really good too. Yeah, it was all around it was a really good trip back. And I think I said in the beginning, when I was sitting around at the airport before my deadhead, I started getting like these waves of emotion. So I'm sitting around and I thought, fuck, I'm really here. Like I'm here now working. I'm going to be working. As opposed to when COVID happened, I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. We didn't fucking know what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. I think I told one of my crew members, to be honest with you, I thought, because Allie had a whole line of china. I think you had 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. And they all got taken away from her. She still got paid for it because she was a line holder and we're guaranteed. If they take a trip away from us, where it's no fault of our own, the company still pays us for it, but they'll replace it with another trip. So like, it could be, huh?
I went to Auckland.
Oh yeah, you went to Auckland. But they can take, let's say it's a 3-day worth 25 hours. They can give us a 3-day worth 12 hours. We're working the 12 hours, but we're getting paid for our original trip. So, they normally don't just not have you work. But there was okay, we're back. Camera sucks a dick. Fuck you, Canon. Okay, I digress. It's rare that they take a trip away and then not have you work anything. But because of the effect of COVID, I think you only worked, was it one trip? I think Allie worked maybe 1 or 2 trips of her original 4 or 5. The other ones, they didn't have anything because everything was canceling. That's what happened with my schedule. I packed my schedule because I wanted to work. I was ready. Like, I picked this up, I picked that up. I had it. I had everything. And then little by little, like if I had a 3-day or a 4-day, the middle flights were canceling. So then I thought, well, what the fuck are we gonna do? And then it was, well, I mean, you're not going, and then the trip would get canceled, and then it wasn't being replaced because not only is my trips or my flights are being canceled, but then other people's flights are being canceled. So now everything's just canceling because like shit was hitting the fan. And like I said, I told my crew, my recent crew from this past trip, I just thought we were gonna lose China. That's it. I never in a million years would have thought we're gonna be fucking grounded for over a year. Like, that's fucking mind-boggling. Fuck, what was my point about that? Oh yeah, just because I was nervous.
We didn't think COVID was a big deal.
Yeah. At the time we didn't realize the impact of what COVID was gonna bring. Yeah, that shit was crazy. Oh, because I was getting emotional. There it is. So to go from that, and then like each month we were like, what the fuck? And I just like, man, there was a couple times that I told my crew that there was a couple days there, Allie had to kind of pull me aside and talk to me. She's like, hey, live your life, but I don't think you should be drinking like a 20-pack of beer every single fucking day. There was a couple times where we'd wake up at 9 or 10, and by maybe 2-3 hours later, I was wasted. And then I'd sober up, and then I get wasted again. Yeah, I was like, yo, I gotta stop that shit. And then getting the dogs definitely helped. At least a little bit with the drinking, because then I was thinking, well, Allie needs help with the dogs. The dogs are counting on me. I can't just be willy nilly. I mean, I still kind of did here and there. And then at some point, I was like, yo, I can't live like this. Like, this is fucking insane, man. Like, what? I was just gonna become a raging alcoholic just because I fucking lost my job? So then I had to turn back into that, like, because I normally go to the gym 4 to 6 days a week. So then I had to turn that brain back on. And then, gyms weren't open. I didn't have the money to fucking just go buy a gym membership. Luckily, here at the apartment complex, we have a gym. So I was going there, and then I started getting into it again. I was like, okay. And then it was just this shift of, I'm not working, but I know I can't go crazy. And then, to now where I was, sitting there and I was like, whoa, like, we're back. And I will tell you, I do have a fear that the bottom's going to come out or fall off, or what's the term I'm trying to... My fear is that shit's going to get bad again. Like, that's my fear. I'm hoping it doesn't. But in the back of my head, there's a little bit of a fear that I'm like, how long is this? The other shoe to drop. Like, I'm just kind of like, are we going to go back into lockdown? Like, what the fuck is going to happen? So that's a little scary to think about. But I'm trying not to think about that part. But yeah. It's a good, successful trip. And I wanted to share that with you guys. And that's about it. That's really all I wanted to talk to you guys about this week. Made it a little Jesusito episode. So, yes?
Can you give a shout out to your favorite salmon rice bowl place? You didn't name it.
I don't know what it's called.
Oh. Is it
Salmon rice place.
Sakuri?
Sir, I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know. I'll find out what the name is, and then I'll let you guys know.
We'll write it
in the San Francisco airport. And just when I was going to say goodbye to you guys, the camera battery fucking died. Canon, I hate you so fucking much. So much. Eat a dick. And not the good dicks. Eat all the bad dicks. Again, guys, thank you for letting me share my first trip back with you guys. Like I said, that's really all I wanted to share with you guys this week. Because I thought it was... I think Apollo farted again. It was a big deal for me. Felt good. Remember, tell everybody you know, your mom, your dad, cousins, brothers, sisters, the good cousins and the bad cousins. Tell them all to subscribe to The Jesus Show, not that one. And this week, taking us out, once again, Allie's going to come in and do some music. And then we're going to go.
You didn't prep me for
Ready? Yeah, you're on the spot. Ready? And go. Come on. You have to do it in the mic. The Jesus Show, not that one. Cut.